X-Men First Class. So even though this movie came out 4 years ago, I just got through watching it for the first time last night. And I must admit that it is pretty damn good. Now for a movie being made by Marvel Studios, they actually do respect this franchise by keeping it locked within its own universe instead of expanding it and tying it together to the other Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's what I really admire about it. And that is one thing I have to give Marvel props for. All the characters in the previous X-Men films were a little hard to keep track of. The ones that they present here in this reboot are pretty well developed. Michael Fassbender, who most people remember as playing the humanoid robot from Prometheus, actually did a really good job at playing Eric Landshear, aka Magneto, in this film. Eric's backstory was very well crafted and very emotional at the same time. I just really admire how they did it. You can actually feel his eternal conflict as he's going up against his enemy Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon, and it almost hits you to the core. Charles Xavier tries to help Eric harness his conflict that he's having within himself. And whether or not Eric takes Xavier's advice whether to battle his inner demons in order to fulfill this or not remains for you to be seen. James McAvoy was a good choice for Charles Xavier. He does a really good job at showing a 24-year-old version of Patrick Stewart's character. Of course, everybody's favorite character, Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine, makes a special appearance in this movie too. The lines of dialogue he gave to Xavier and Magneto were just priceless. This is actually the first film I've actually seen Academy Award-winning young actress Jennifer Lawrence in. Not only is Jennifer attractive, but I also really like her great personality, and that was a fine casting choice for the character Raven, aka Mystique. With that kind of personality and the way the character her behaves makes me think one thing. Wow, she is the baby sister that I've always wanted. So the story goes that it takes place in 1961 when JFK was still alive and president, and we are on the verge of the Cuban Missile Crisis. And because Charles Xavier knows that mutants exist in this world, and to deceive the Russians into somehow starting World War III with the United States. At the same time, Charles Xavier is trying to prepare for this in order to gather up his team of mutants to stop Sebastian Shaw in order to prevent World War III from happening. Pretty amazing how they show Eric Landshear become the character Magneto in this film, and all the conflicts that he's going through in order to achieve what he does. And this also brings me to my other favorite character, the young scientist Hank, aka Beast. Nicholas Hoult did a pretty damn good job playing Beast in this movie. Seeing him transport his team up in the SR-71 reconnaissance jet, also known as the Blackbird, was one of my favorite parts of the movie. The combat maneuvers and the flying mechanics that he did while flying the jet was sick. The other character that I also liked in this movie was Banshee, whom is played by Caleb Landry Jones. His gliding and wailing techniques just added to the extra spice that this kind of action film needed. Now the action scenes are awesome and all, but I do have to make a little bit of a gripe. When you see things tossed, crashed, and being blown around, it's pretty obvious that it's CGI. We're a little too fake, but the rest of the effects didn't hurt the rest of the film for how good it was. Some of the effects could have been tweaked and polished out a little more, but the characters are great and the story is a work of genius. I will give X-Men First Class a 9 out of 10. Since X-Men Origins Wolverine nearly destroyed the franchise, this film was a great fresh start and a great reboot to this franchise that everybody loves. Yeah, everybody remember how X-Men Origins Wolverine turned out to be 6 years ago? I really look forward to reviewing the next 2 films in this reboot, so stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Be sure to give a thumbs up, click the link below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you all later.